You're listening to Pet Fluff with Katie Mara, a lifestyle podcast that features various topics, current events, tips and advice, and the occasional guest that not only benefits you, but also your pet. So come and join me and take a listen as I am your host, Katie Mara. Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Pet Fluff. I'm really excited to be here. I hope you are too. I wanted to start off and just quickly say I am not in journalism or have any sort of podcasting experience. So this will be an interesting ride. I am not always the best speaker, but that will improve with time. So let's get into our first segment called Here's the Scooper. Here's the Scooper, where a captivating current event can spark a conversation or a feel-good story that makes your heart smile. And best of all, it's all about the animals. So I found this interesting article, actually posted on Facebook, on my feed, by the Irish Post, claiming that a dog takes the bus to the dog park by herself. So I'm going to go ahead and actually read you the article. So if you've ever been too scared to let your kids take the public bus by themselves, you might want to change your mind when you hear this. Meet Eclipse. She is an adorable black lab and mastiff mix who travels to the park every day by herself. Because she don't need no man, or a woman for that matter. Incredibly, she jumps on the bus near her home in Seattle, Washington, and rides downtown, getting off at the park where she frolics with her fellow four-legged friends. After a couple of hours, she returns to the bus stop, jumps back on using a ticket attached to her collar, and then returns home ready for supper. The remarkable story started one day when the excitement of the park was too much, and Eclipse got tired of waiting for her owner, Jeff, to finish his cigarette as the bus was pulling up. She jumped on without him, and before he could react, the bus set off. Fortunately, the bus driver recognized her and, not wanting to disappoint the determined traveler, dropped her off at the park before Jeff eventually caught up. After a few more solo trips, Jeff realized that Eclipse was more than capable of making the trip without him, so he decided to let her, adorably fixing a bus ticket to her collar every morning, knowing full and well that she would be back a few hours later. Regular passengers on the bus have even gotten to know Eclipse, and as expected, she makes everyone smile. A Facebook post detailing Eclipse's journey has garnered roughly 300,000 shares. That is quite an achievement. I think there's a lesson we can all learn here. Be more dog. Now, if that isn't the cutest story I have ever heard, that is like utterly ridiculous. I can't even take sometimes public transportation and get to a place successfully. So kudos to Eclipse. She is a hero to us all. All the Fluff, where discussions happen and information is absorbed to help aid you and your pet. This next topic actually gets me a little giddy inside. I have not only a personal relationship with this, but I also have some financial investments into this next topic. So I picked up the Green Entrepreneur. It's actually entrepreneuring and investing in the marijuana industry. So I came across a really interesting article about pets and CBD oil. And I found this article very valuable as the CBD industry is growing like crazy. Just a couple of statistics. In 1 year, from 2017 to 2018, sales quadrupled from 8 million to 32 million. And by 2022, predicted sales could reach over $1.6 billion a year. So I wanted to touch base on what exactly CBD oil is and how it can benefit your pet, and also how it can benefit you. The difference between adult CBD oil or human CBD oil and pet CBD oil is that you really want to pick a CBD oil that all the THC is removed so that the compound is not poisonous to cats and dogs. THC is actually fatal to cats and dogs, especially in high quantities. So there is a different quantity aspect that you have to adhere to. You don't want to give them human CBD products. You want to give them animal CBD products because they're formulated especially for pets. You may be asking, what is the actual purpose of CBD for animals? Much like humans, it's very similar. It can relieve a variety of issues, including joint pain, seizures, anxiety. It can also increase hunger amongst animals who have consistent nausea from any sort of chronic illness or any sort of medication. On a side note, you do want to make sure that the CBD oil or chew does not interfere with any sort of medications that your animal may be taking. It's been difficult to find a lot of research on the CBD regarding animals because there's already little research regarding humans, and they are starting to do research on pets with certain vet schools, but law and regulation changes with the cannabis industry has made it really difficult for vets to even discuss specific CBD brands or CBD in general for pets, which limits experts to do any sort of research. And actually, California is the only legal state to allow vets to discuss CBD options with their patients, but they can't even recommend any certain brands. So I'm here to help discuss some options available and how to look for the right CBD oil for your pet. And there's certain stipulations that you have to look for in order to find the right CBD oil for your pet. The first thing to look for is to check for the COA, which is the Certificate of Analysis. And essentially what that is a document that proves that the CBD oil is certified through a specific lab, and each company has to submit a lab with the ingredients and how much CBD oil is in each dosage. So if they don't have this COA, then 9 times out of 10, it's not even a legitimate CBD oil company. And that is concerning, because there are lots of companies that are making lots of money on the CBD industry and they're not regulated and they haven't had their products tested in labs. So that is one of the most crucial things that you want to look for. And that goes for human CBD consumption as well. If this is not in any sort of CBD product that you have, chances are it's not regulated. They may not even have CBD. It may be an essence of CBD. So you may be getting ripped off because there is no regulation. There is no proper certification that hasn't been defined yet. You have to do your own research when it comes to this industry because it's new. And for pets, you want to make sure that the THC is non-detectable. As I stated before, THC in high compounds is very toxic to cats and dogs, and it is often fatal. You want it to be a broad spectrum hemp oil. You want to make sure that the product is organic because you don't want any sort of impurities in the product. You also want to make sure that it's called nano size micro emulsion, which is fancy for CBD absorption. They have smaller particles, and it's basically the oil in smaller particles. They break it down so that it's easily able to be absorbed into the system because you want fast absorption. And I'm sure this probably applies to humans as well. I wanted to give a couple of brands that I found online because a lot of times we do want some recommended brands. I also want to state that I am not endorsed for any of these brands. I am not paid for this. I just did my own research. The first product is Balance CBD. This seems to be the highest rated CBD oil. They also have a chew, and it seems to be one of the best of all the research I've came across. Another brand is called Cannapet. The good thing about this brand is that they give 50% off for shelters and charities for both cat and dog tinctures. With each of these products, they give you the proper dosage that would be best placed for your cat or dog. Even for a dog and cat, dosage would be different depending on the size and how much weight they are. So you would want to do some research on that as well. I personally take CBD oil. I've used a couple of brands and I know a few for myself. I've personally had Sunday Scaries. It was my first time taking CBD oil. They have CBD gummies and the oil. They have a vegan gummy and they have a regular gummy. I actually like the vegan gummies better, and I'm not a vegan at all. So I would highly recommend them. They also have the COA report, so you may want to look them up and at sundayscaries.com. And I think you can get like 20% off or whatever, but their oils is good. It tastes pretty good, actually. The Balanced CBD is also available for humans as well, so you can have it for your pet and your human. The next brand that I've seen that I really want to try is Cannuka. I've seen it actually at Ulta, and apparently it's highly rated. They actually have creams that you can place on your body, which seems pretty cool. I wanted to check it out. And they have a facial, I think it's a facial lotion that I saw. But they also do oil, and I think they have gummies, but I'm not 100% sure. But if you go to Ulta, you can see all their products. They have a bunch of skincare products, which I thought was pretty cool. The number one rated that I've seen for humans is Charlotte's Web. I've been wanting to try Charlotte's Web for quite some time. They are a little bit more expensive, but they are one of the oldest CBD companies that have been out since this craze has been going on, and they are highly rated. And everyone that I've seen that has left reviews for Charlotte's Web it's nothing but positive reviews. So I'm excited personally to try them. Another thing that I came across is, I guess it's really big in the industry, is to get some pre-rolls, which is hemp flowers. I guess it would be like a regular blunt, but you don't get high from it, but you smoke it. And they have a bunch of CBD buds, I guess, that you can smoke, but they're pre-rolls. That's another way of you to access the CBD. I'm interested to try it. I have never even knew that they had pre-rolls, so that's interesting to know. But with this industry, I'm sure they want to offer multiple ways of you accessing the CBD into your body. So I guess smoke is another way to do so as well. So I hope some of these will help you out in your CBD exploration travels. I personally highly recommend CBD oil. I think it's great. It's had positive effects on me. It's able for me to personally sleep better and alleviate some joint pain that I personally have. So I think CBD and marijuana is a wave of the future, and I think you should invest into some of these companies that are on the stock exchange, because I feel that it will be another .com experience. Anyway, on to our next segment, all the fluff. It's Q&A time. Solve all your animal problems here. No matter how pressing or silly your question is, don't worry, I got you covered. Now, it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. Our first question is from Lisa from the UK. I'm actually surprised that I have a listener from the UK. Her question reads, I have a big, fat, naughty, adorable cockapoo who's 11 months old. He's pretty good with everything now, from walking to doing things that we ask him to do because he wants to please. But he still chews. He's chewed several pieces of furniture, some decking, some woodwork, and a shoebox. Oh, and socks. And you know what that means. And there's a poop emoji, so I'm not sure what exactly that means. But it seemed like he had stopped and was chewing sticks and a raggy. I guess she said it's like a toy. I don't know, it's British talk. So I thought, great, I can throw him out in the old sofa with the hole in it. In the meantime, I can put an older one in there with a cover on it. And if it's all safe and sound, get a new one soon, meaning the sofa. A sudden urgent call from my daughter 10 minutes later, and he had chewed the new sofa cover. And then overnight, he chewed an old sofa as well. Help, my house looks wrecked because my sofas have holes in them. First, I would like to say I know this can be very frustrating. Right now, your dog is a teenage dog, meaning that he's not quite an adult dog, but he is still considered a puppy. Until he's about 2 years old, I would not leave him alone freely in your house. The first suggestion I would say is to have him either in a crate or have him in a designated playpen area. You can place him in a room that has limited furniture, such as a kitchen or a living room, and I would not have him in an area where there's any furniture whatsoever. If you want to crate him, I would suggest placing the crate in a centralized location so that they can feel most comfortable. Part of a dog's job is to protect your home. This is a job that they give themselves. So you want to be able to have them in a centralized location so that they can see everything that's going on in the house without creating an added anxiety. The next thing I would say is making sure that your dog has a lot of energy taken out of him. Taking him to dog parks, extra walks, if you can run with him, any way to get all that extra energy out of him. A lot of times dogs tend to chew because they have all this pent-up energy that is not being expelled properly, much like a toddler. And you have to understand your breed of dog that you have. Poodles in particular are one of the smartest dog breeds available. And one of the next episodes I will get into is picking the right breed for your lifestyle. It's really crucial for not only you, but also the dog to know what kind of lifestyle you lead so that you can pick a proper dog that suits your best lifestyle. But with poodles in particular, they need extra brain activities to keep them occupied while you're gone. And if they don't, they tend to get themselves into a lot of trouble. It's not just them, it's German Shepherds, it's Rhodesian Ridgebacks, Border Collies, any sort of shepherd or kettle dog. A lot of working dogs tend to be more of the intelligent species because they have to obey commands. So with that being said, because they are not given a job, they have to rely on other things to keep them occupied. And this is why I suggest puzzles or any sort of chewing toys to occupy their time while you are away. And one other thing I wanted to mention is sometimes the chewing is not because of boredom or not because they're even smart. It can also be because they have a bit of separation anxiety. And there's plenty of remedies to assist with the anxiety. Now, you can go to your vet to get any sort of prescription medication, but of course that is a last resort. I would suggest in our previous segment about CBD calming chews, I've worked with several clients' dogs who had severe anxiety, and the CBD calming chews really helped them, and it relaxed them and not bark and destroy things in the process. Because that's not what we want. We don't want a dog to wreck our entire house. So Lisa, I hope this is a good plan to help your cockapoo get started in becoming less destructive until he can mature some and be left alone in larger spaces for longer periods of time. If you have a question about your pet or someone else's pet for that matter, email me at petfluffpodcast@gmail.com and I'll be more than happy to help you out and try to answer your question the best I can. Well, it's time for my favorite segment, which is the feature pet of the episode. This is where I showcase a local DMV pet that is in need of a forever home. So, let me help you find your forever pet. So this is really exciting because not only do we have one feature, but we actually have two features this week for our first episode podcast. So that's really exciting. First animal that is up for adoption is named Bobo, and he is located at the Four Paws Rescue. A little bit about Four Paws. The Four Paws Rescue Team is a nonprofit, community-based, all-volunteer organization that takes in neglected, abandoned, abused, and unwanted cats and kittens. Cats rescued by Four Paws receive vaccines and appropriate veterinary care before being adopted into a permanent, loving home. An animal rescued by Four Paws will never be euthanized except out of medical necessity. Additionally, Four Paws is dedicated to supporting the management of populations and improving the health of feral cat colonies. Four Paws volunteers also hold seminars in local schools to teach children the importance of responsible pet care. Four Paws is a qualified public charity under the Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. So that's a little bit about Four Paws. And so I wanted to to talk a little bit about Bobo. He is a new arrival from Four Paws from our partnering shelter in Wise County, Virginia. Bobo is a sweet and friendly 1-year-old boy who is initially a bit reserved with new people. Currently, Four Paws is seeking a foster home for Bobo as a single cat. Now, he would be okay around non-feline pets such as dogs. That's actually a good thing. It's difficult to have cats being introduced with dogs, so that's a great thing. Currently, he is boarding at one of the partnering vet offices and is a bit overwhelmed there. And he needs a loving and nurturing home where he can feel a little bit more relaxed. So if you are interested in Bobo, check out our Instagram page. We have a Linktree account, and we will have the Four Paws link attached there, as well as we're going to post some pictures of Bobo, and hopefully you're interested if you need a cat. Our second feature is Scrappy from Homeward Trails. A little bit about Homeward Trails. They are a DC area-based 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the rescue, care, and placement of homeless dogs and cats. Founded in 2001, HT primarily works with rural, underdeveloped, and under-resourced animal shelters in Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, and as far away as Mississippi, where animals face euthanasia due to limited space and funds. They run the 10th largest shelter in the state of Virginia and have rescued more than 24,000 animals since their inception. The animals come from the streets of Puerto Rico, where they endure incredibly harsh circumstances with scarcity of food and water, and may suffer from injuries and illnesses that leave their chances of survival slim. The 2020 earthquakes have created even more a need for their services. The animals come from countries such as Thailand, South Korea, and China, where dog meat trade unleashes horrible abuse on dogs. The animals come to us from individuals who can no longer care for them. In 2019, Homeward Trails took over animal control services in Puerto Rico, where they provide life-saving opportunities for dogs and cats, run trap neuter release, the TNR projects for street cats, and to work and educate the public with the goal of finding sustainable solutions for the overpopulation of animals. Homeward Trails relies on the generosity of the local community to further their mission, and corporate partners are critical to their success. Please join them as they work to find homes for homeless dogs and cats in 2020. Homeward Trails is actually running a new program called Go Fetch, Go Fish, and this program is dedicated to the long-term animals that have been staying at their facility for some time. If you adopt an animal that is part of the Go Fetch, Go Fish program, not only will all of your adoption fees be waived, but you will also receive a welcome care package that will help get you started once you adopt your pet. Now, they are rolling this program out now, so they're starting with dogs, but eventually it will also include their cats that they have for adoption. So maybe check out some of the animals that have been at the facility for some time and see which animal would be best suited for you. My husband Herbert and I actually recently visited the shelter a couple weekends ago, and we were really excited to see what their organization was about and how their operations are undergoing. And we actually met other dogs that will be featured in future episodes of Pet Fluff. These are dogs that are going to be showcased that have been sitting there in the shelter for quite some time, over 6 months. They are really looking for a forever home, so consider being that forever home. So let's talk about Scrappy. A little bit about Scrappy. She is originally from Tazewell County, and that she is a very fun and excitable dog. She loves to be outside and loves to play, especially with rope toys and squeaky toys. They are actually her favorite thing in the entire world. Scrappy is really excited when she meets new people. She loves to give kisses no matter how tall the person is, and she will not give up until she succeeds. Ideally, Scrappy's best home setting would be in a place where she can be active and go on a lot of adventures. If you are interested in Scrappy, check out our IG page at CRC Pet Service, and our Linktree account will also have additional information regarding both pets that you can adopt, as well as others that have been at both Four Paws and Home Trails.
Keep angels around you, 'cause these days there's no. Keep angels around you, 'cause these days there's no promise.
know what, guys? It's about that time for me to get up out of here. I really hope that you enjoyed your time with me today, and I hope you continue to check in every other Wednesday. It's the first and the third Wednesday of each month, so please keep your calendars posted for when we have a new podcast every other week. Check out our Instagram page. It's at CRC Pet Service. If you are a local person that is listening to the podcast and live in Falls Church, Arlington, or McLean, we do also do pet sitting services. You know I had to throw in my business. So if you are looking for pet sitting service, we service everything. We do boarding, pet sitting, dog walking, cat sitting, anything that you can think of for your pet, we can do. So you can also check us out on the Instagram page. Everything that we talked about in the podcast today should be posted on our Instagram. We also have a Linktree account. All the information regarding all the adopted pets will be on there. Any updates to the podcast will be on there. Just come and follow us at CRC Pet Service. Thank you guys so much and have a wonderful day. Thanks for checking out Pet Fluff with Katie Mara. And just in case you have forgotten today, you matter, you are loved, you are worthy, and you are magical.